Thank you for joining CU Bands and Fans podcast. Our podcast is brought to you by Homegrown KIO. Homegrown KIO is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. It is a stellar show featuring the great songs that have come from bands originating in Champaign-Urbana. Listen at 107.9 on your FM dial, at 1079WKIO.com, or ask Alexa to play WKIO.
Three steps forward, two steps back, but you were always there to care.
Hey, it's Terry with CU Bands and Fans podcast, the story behind the musician. My co-host is with me this evening, Zach Widdop. How are you, Zach?
Hello, doing well.
But our guest is Fyre Insyde. Fyre Insyde is a rock band. Definitely. Would you say that's your genre?
Well, we say we're a rock band here in the Florida area. We actually are the number 3 metal band that got nominated by the Orlando Weekly. So we play rock and roll music, and we play with a lot of metal acts. So
yeah,
probably most of the stuff that especially in Champaign-Urbana, I remember times have changed so much that. It's a real heavier kind of vibe on the end of new metal is something that, it's kind of like rap along with a little bit of screaming and then a little bit of melody. You get a little bit and then everybody jumping up and down, so we aren't that. But if you talk about, we give you good melody, then we give you, something to hold on to. If I can say, we believe in a big guitar sound and a message.
I know.
That's kind of where we kind of land. So we are a rock band from Orlando, Florida. Unfortunately, all the fans want us to be metal, I think. So it's all right. We'll do whatever it is in now.
Yeah. Well, you're an intense rock band. That's for sure. You're not a classic rock band. And well, first of all, introduce yourself. Let's start there.
What's that?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is George Palmer. You all know me. I used to play in a band called Figure 8 with my brother Kevin Edelson, Larry Lee, and also William Kallenbach and John LaRoe. Gosh, we had a lot of people in Figure 8, so I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm gonna. But anyway, we played cover songs. And so when I moved to Florida, I decided that I wanted to be recognized, if you will, hopefully by the people that I grew up with, which thank you so much for letting us be on this podcast. I'm so honored to be back in Champaign-Urbana, even if it is online. It's so great. So yeah. I actually go by Rockstar G, which I kind of got when I left Illinois. Everybody around my hometown of Monticello, hello, Monticello. You would say, hey, what up, Rockstar? So when I got here, it just kind of carried over because I didn't change who I am. And now I'm known as Rockstar G. But to all my friends, I'm George.
I seen that on your social media, I think, of Rockstar G. I was like, well, that must be him. That must be you.
That must be.
And you are lead vocalist?
I am. And right now, when we first started the band, which I know we'll get to, but, it really started with me and Oscar and another gentleman who's going to join us here shortly, which is our guitarist, and that's Felix. And we kind of decided that no matter what happens with this band, when the wave hits, we're not going to stop riding that wave. So drummers will come and go, which when we tried to get together and get a drummer, it took us forever, going through 3, 5, even before I walked into the picture. So
8.
So yeah, 8. So when I got here and we started actually making something, which it wasn't going to be, that heavier thing. A lot of our drummers down here all want to do that heavier thing. And covers. Yeah. So we said right from the very beginning that we're going to attack this great industry that is being taken advantage of. And all the bands that have come before us didn't understand the game that they were playing. But now that it's a level playing field, I feel very honored that the Lord has brought me to the scene that we are, that we're, on Rock Rage Radio. Thank you, Rock Rage. The Rock Goddess Show. Thank you so much for the number 11 voted band for the year of 2022 for our song "You Carry Me." And so that really pushed off our 2023 incentive to, really let the people know throughout the country that we've been a local band for 2 years, and now we're becoming a regional. And now, in a short matter of time, with our record company and our great distribution, we're now a national band that's going to be going out across the country. So we'll talk about our tour that's coming up, but that's why we called it and Raise Your Hands Tour. So we raised it a little bit different level that we're hoping. So when we make a stop throughout the United States, which I'm very happy to announce that we're coming to you, Central Illinois, you're going to have VIP tickets available. And we're also going to have a special giveaway announcement that when we get there, I'm going to let you know what it is. So we've got two great acts along with this. One's a local, one's a regional. I'm going to call them a local and a regional because one I knew longer than the other. That's it.
Yeah.
If I could say, that's how we set up our show. So Rock Out Records, which is, again, our great record company, and taptunes.us, which is with our great distribution. I won't leave out DistroKid. They're great. They get us on Pandora. They get us on Spotify. Please go and follow us. We get added to playlists all the time by other bands that are still in this revolving idea that we need to have followers. And you don't need to have followers. You need to have real fans. And that's exactly what you brought up in your monarchy. So if you see any other thing, I'll just go on right now. I've been around the scene for a long time there in Central Illinois. If you want to go and you want to really be a part of a real base that's bands and fans, it isn't Central Illinois bands or fans. It would be CU bands and fans, because that's the place where, since I've known it, it's the place where you actually talk to the artists, find out what's going on with them, find out about the scene, let the scene be involved. And it took you a long time to get the support of the scene, and no one should come and try to rip that away from you, or even try to take away a one fan, let alone one band, let alone one podcast, let alone one website, let alone one Facebook page. It's all a matter of building something. So, Zach, would you not agree that you've worked very hard to get relationships? I've known you for a very long time, and now I have my own product to give to you. I don't want to share that with anybody else. I want to share it with the person that was there from the beginning, and I appreciate you letting us be there.
Well said. Bravo. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. You said a lot in there, and we're going to elaborate on all of it, but let's introduce your partner in music.
My name is
Oscar is the bass player who used to be a singer out in. See, Oscar's played all the great clubs, so me and Oscar fit really well. Hey, have you heard of a place called CBGB's? Yeah, I played with 4 bands that played CBGB's. So when all these great iconic places got mentioned around, the Lord does not make mistakes. And if you're in a band that doesn't talk about that, and then you do a different genre, that's great. That's awesome. That's how I actually met this gentleman, is from that avenue. He was always into harder music. And when we got together in Florida, it's just all timing. So Oscar is our bass player, and if I say our catalyst of bringing us together. So
it started with you and Oscar?
No, it actually started with Felix, which is the guitar player.
Yeah.
Oscar, get off your phone.
no.
Tell the great
Felix
people
is
about it.
no. Felix is outside. I don't want to open the door here, so I tell him to come through the house.
Oh, Felix is here. Oh, awesome.
My name is Oscar G, and I am the bass player. I don't have that big introduction. No,
No,
right.
that's not true.
So
The myth, the legend, Mr. Oscar G.
thank you. Well, anyway, my name is Oscar G, and I've been in so many bands. This is my 15th band. So I've been in this deal for about 41 years. So I'm pretty old.
Not that I'm a young guy.
But I'm the oldest guy here. And here's Felix Frashanti, everybody.
Speaking of the young guy, now there's the young guy. That would be the young guy.
So
Felix has just joined us.
Yeah, so for 41 years, I've been trying to create something. It all started when I was like 14. I asked my dad. I was like, "Dad, can I have a guitar?" He said, "There's too many guitar players in the world." That was his way of saying no.
No.
You know? So I went a different route, and I became somebody. I started growing my hair. You know, it was the 80s. You know, Rat came out, Poison, and everybody's growing their hair. So I had a cool look of hair, and this guy said, "Hey, you want to sing for my band?" I'm like, "Sure."
What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about?
So
are you like giving on my outfit again?
So that's how I started singing. I started Metallica, the Metallica cover band. Never made it anywhere out of the garage. So then I went to another band called Bondage, and that's when I started having my stage presence, whatever. So after all that went down, and I'm here in Florida. This is back in Jersey. Here in Florida. Again, looking for playing with bands. Then I became a bass player because I lost my voice. I didn't want to sing anymore, so I decided to play bass.
Oh, wow.
So I was, I played with a few bands in Florida. Again, I was trying to do the original thing. And people.
What kind of music were you playing, Oscar?
Well, it was heavy, but it was, between rock and metal. It's always been that way. It's always I'm a rock metal guy, but anyway, so it never really panned out to anything because I was the only serious one to be in those bands, trying to push the band, trying to get this and blah blah, but nothing ever worked out. I had a young kid that I played with for 10 years, and he wound up being a drug addict, drunk, and that went away. So now I'm pushing 50. So now I'm like, damn, what am I going to do? I hooked up with this one guy, and he actually met Felix. He was with Felix, and then he said, "Hey, I got this guitar player, blah blah blah. He's 23." I'm like, 23-year-old ain't gonna want to play with an old guy because they never do. All these young kids, all they want to do is play with younger guys. So I was like,
because usually all you want to do is cover.
So anyway, so we hooked up, and we were a three-piece. We were trying to get stuff together. And Felix is always coming out with some good riffs, always coming out with something good. And this guy was playing like something totally different. And I would turn around and be like, "Are we in the same band?" It's not even close to even being, what he's trying to do. Anyway, he kind of aggravated me, and I was like, "You know what? I'm out." So I quit that. And then a few days later, Felix calls me up, and he's like, "Hey, man, you want to get together and jam?" I'm like, "Sure." So for about a year and a half, I think we were just jamming, just screwing around. And then we decided, I was like, you know what, let's try to create a band. And that's when we tried to get drummers, which was a nightmare. We went through 8 drummers in a year.
Why? What was the problem with the drummers? Because let me say something real quick. When I was listening to your music, first of all, I tried to figure out what was my favorite, and I did land on 2 that are my favorite. That aside, your drummer, I know who he is. That guy's great. Great.
Okay, so we're clear. What song are you talking about?
Well, you have to be clear on the track.
Because this is what I got to explain to you now.
Yeah.
Okay, it might not be the same. Okay, it's the let me see. The Ride. Okay, I love that one. Okay. And let me see, because I wrote it down. I've been listening to it all day. I don't know why I didn't. What Awaits, I like that.
Okay. All right. So that's the same drummer. That's the
same drummer.
We have 2 drummers on our catalog. We have our original drummer, and we also have our producer, who is Sean Shannon,
a session drummer,
basically. And he has stepped up and helped us out and said that he would, while we look for a drummer, that he would step in. And he recorded actually 2 of our songs, You Carry Me and
You Carry Me is my favorite. That's my number 1 favorite.
Fall in Love. Those are the two songs that he's in, and he did a phenomenal job. But the best thing about this drummer, let me tell you something. He recorded us all night, right? For a few hours, because he's recording our, different tracks or whatever. When he went to put the drum tracks down, this man only took one take on both songs.
I believe that.
And it was perfect.
I absolutely believe that. And that's something I don't notice a whole lot when I'm listening to music, really, is unless I'm listening to live music. But I'm there present. But I did really notice those drums, and the sound and everything is just perfect. But You Carry Me was my number one favorite song.
Okay, so to continue on to the story, Felix and I, like I said, we're looking for drummers. And we wanted to do the original thing, but that wasn't working. So we created a cover band, jukebox. So we got a few people in, and we had some songs. We actually did one show. And two shows. One show, right? Yeah, we did one show, and it went pretty well. But the thing is, I'm not a cover band guy, and neither is he, so we weren't really happy with it. So we continue on the search to try to find, to get a band going. This is 2020 now. Like I said, I'm pushing 55. I'm like, I'm done, because I'm like, I'm going to just sell my stuff. I told him, I said, look, bro, get yourself some younger guys, get a band together, you belong there. And he kept saying, no, man, I want to stay with you. I love this kid. I love this kid like he's my son. But he just kept going because he gave me life again. You know what I mean? Because I was dying. You know what I mean? Everything was going. I gave myself a deadline. December 31st, 2020. If we can't get a band together, I'm done. I'm selling all my equipment, blah, 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 blah. 2 weeks before the end of the year, this man shows up.
Wow.
He came in and
That's a good story.
And impressed me. You know what I mean? Because the way he was dressed, for one, because I'm that guy, I'm from the 80s, so I'm that guy. So he dresses just like I want a front man.
By the way, he dresses like this, like you see. I dress like this every day.
Every day.
So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a
That's
difference.
why he's called Rockstar G.
When we walked in together, and he goes, "Dude, is there a time where you're just George, so I can see you as George?" I go, no, there's not. My wife's been asking to see me in that for about 40 years, bro. If you can get it out, she'll think that I got like the Lord's come back in miracle.
So then George walks in, and they actually came up with like three to six songs, roughly, not like just a rough. Because George has got this little red book that he has all his lyrics in, and then Felix will just come and start playing. And then,
we picked four of those riffs that are on our Volume 1 album.
He'll flip his pages, and then he'll come up with something. And I was like, you know what? This is something. At the end of the audition, I'm outside with George, and he's telling me, he goes, look, man, I don't think this is for me. The kid's good, but he's still like a little bit immature. Not immature as his age, as immature as his playing.
I'm too old for this, dude. I'm as old as you.
Right.
So gotta be my last shot.
He's like, me, he's like, this is my last shot. Am I really gonna?
If I'm gonna hook my train to you, dude, you gotta tell me. I really. Hey, have you watched the show The Dirt? Have you seen the movie The Dirt?
Yeah.
That's how I felt like with Mick Mars saying, if you guys ain't in it for real, just let me know.
What's it called? The Dirt?
I'm too old for this. This is my last shot, man.
So he turned us down the first time. And I was like kind of bummed, because I was like, wow, man, this is like the first person that actually showed up. And all this time that we've been trying to find people that actually made sense. Because the thing is, when you create, okay, it's not like one person just creates. It's a combination of people. You see what I'm saying? Like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. They haven't talked to each other in 40 years. They hate each other. But what? The music works. That combination works. And then the same thing here, when you get the right combination, then all of a sudden, when I asked them to come back the 2 days later, like 8 songs they came out with. And then I was like, this is it. This is what we need. So he decided to stay, And then we wind up getting a drummer that I had from a previous band. And then that's how we started Fyre Insyde. And Felix, from the time that I met him when he was 23 to now, 5 years later, the kid has become like an amazing guitar player. And I'm not saying that because he's here, I'm trying to kiss his ass, or he's in my band.
Hey, watch your mouth.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Watch your mouth. There's children watching this show. Watch your mouth.
You know, because like I never seen, of all the people that I played with a lot of people. I never seen anybody so dedicated to the guitar than this kid is. Okay, no, because he does. And you should be proud of that. He brings like his theory book to rehearsal. Who does that? You know what I mean? Yeah, this guy, and he's always on there. We used to rehearse here. This is my home studio. But the problem is that we can only rehearse certain times. So we got a studio outside of here, so that way Felix could go whenever he wants. So he'll go there like 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And he'll start doing his thing. You know, that way he has a place that he can actually go there and create, which is
when he's feeling it. Yeah.
On our part, yes. But yeah, so that's how the band started. And the reason that we lost our original drummer, it was because he wanted to just do this as a hobby. And he saw that it was going somewhere. And you know, he has a family, a job, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he couldn't commit to that.
It's respectable. I'm still friends with him, you know. So that's how we lost the first one. Then the other ones, you know, again, we've been through like 3 or 4.
Everybody else is a gun for hire.
And yeah. So at this point, George actually plays drums. And
so we have no gun for hire anymore. We took the sign down until we get back from our tour. Then we're gonna have the little gun for hire sign back up.
Yeah, so we're go ahead.
So George, are you the one that played drums on these songs?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not on the record.
Not on the record. He plays. Okay. He's playing drums on stage.
Do I have to play what they played in the studio? Yeah. But yeah, no, I didn't come. Well, it's kind of funny that you asked that, because when we actually make up all the songs, correct me if I'm wrong, the drummer was never, one or two, the drummer was never involved anyway, because they weren't there, and I would get behind the kit and we would make our songs. So they evolved with me behind the kit, and then we just had somebody else play on the record.
That part.
So
okay.
And then like, hey, you want to be in the band? Yeah. So then they just kind of just fell away. But as we were talking earlier, this wave that has started since you guys, when was the first Monster interview that you guys did on 104.1?
That was in 2021 in April.
Okay. That wave has really never crested. So we made the choice that this train is not going to stop. When we jump on this surfboard, we're from Florida. When you jump on the surfboard and the wave starts, we're not getting off the board until it stops.
And we're not taking any passengers.
Okay, so let me say this, not taking any new tracks. I love that. I could, you know, I'm being totally genuine here. Seriously. I'm just because I usually am when it comes to music and my thoughts on it, or how much I like it, or what I don't like, or whatever. And I basically like all genres, all music, but there's got to be something about it that keeps me, you know, right. keeps me going back, and I want to hear this again, and I want to hear this again, which with original music, that was why we began Original Artist Night. And because the deepness of original music in Champaign County is pretty big, and we wanted to bring that out. Yeah, we wanted to bring that out, and we wanted people to feel it and hear it and see it and experience it. But that being said, like, you guys hearing your music, I'm telling you, I could tell no difference between you guys and some national artists that are, you know, already been out there for quite some time.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. It was a hard decision to make, but it was a unanimous decision to make, to be an all original band. Because like trying to be an all original band is a big uphill battle. You know what I mean? Because people, for some reason they think they need to hear a cover song in order for them to like your music. And that's
Yeah.
why we decided not to do any covers and to be ourselves, to try to our music to get us to that point. I don't want to get to that point with somebody else's music, you know. But our band, like the way I wanted my band to be, I wanted to be like say Journey, okay, Open Arms, my first girlfriend, Faithfully, my fifth girlfriend. 40 years later, it still does something to me, okay? Music today, okay, 20, 40 years from now, is that even going to matter? You know what I mean? Are you going to be like emotionally attached to like, you know, like what is that? WAP? I don't want to say the name, but you know, is that what you want to attach yourself to? I like older bands like Journey and Boston, you know, all those older bands, their music meant something. Today, all they do is bitch about one thing or another.
Watch your language.
I'm sorry. Well, they complain about, you know, about everything. Oh, my dad didn't love me. That's why I became a musician. You know what I mean? Our music is more uplifting for our fans.
Basically, what Oz is saying is he's saying go ahead and call what's the Christian station there in Champaign?
WBGL.
BGL. I was going to say the one over here, but we've got 3 or 4 across the nation, and all we really need is a couple people to kind of push it, because we've already got it on their little playlist on the fact of we'll let our people decide, because I love BGL and the fact that they have their listenership that, hey, we're gonna give you some songs. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So anything you can do to get the little text line over there and request You Carry Me, or request, Fyre Insyde, that would be wonderful, because they have our entire catalog too. So
all radio stations are connected to one thing. They all have our catalog. So
everybody has it.
If you call up and you request a Fyre Insyde of any,
yes,
like and I hate to say this, we're on 5 internet radio stations, across the country, 2 over in the UK, 1 over in Australia. So the world has changed so much on the fact of where you can get your music, where I understand why everybody wants it free, because that's what we came from. The radio station gave it to you free, but it was a gateway. You only got a certain amount of music that you could hear.
Okay, so I think it's kind of important that I say this right now. So because you brought up Journey and all of that, which we grew up with. We grew up with the greats, and it's been said, and I think about this a lot, and especially, Journey was just here at State Farm Center, and I think about this a lot because let's take Fleetwood Mac, Journey, AC/DC, Head East, REO Speedwagon, all of them have their when you first hear that note or that first beginning of that song, who that band is, right? Because they have their own unique sound. Like Fleetwood Mac, when you hear a Fleetwood Mac song.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
that's our formula, because that's what
I love that about you.
Yeah,
that we need more of that, because things are turning so. And the fact that you actually play instruments and you actually write your own.
Don't go there. Oh man, there's so many wars that we're on right now. One of them is actually with the artist. And before I go and say this, because you brought it up, Zach, I want a question. I've watched 7 podcasts with you, and I want a question. I want to be the one band that gets a question from Zach.
Zach, yeah. See, Zach, I told you need to be more involved.
So go ahead, Zach. Give us a question.
Have to have questions for them.
I don't know. I had a comment that I have seen quite a few bands in this area that play all original music. And one of the neat things about them that I've noticed is they develop a fan base, and their fans know all their music and they know all of their words. And I maybe seen one of them a couple times, and I go to see them, and I don't know the words to any of their songs, but they have all these fans there who know all the words to all of their songs, and I really like that.
Well, that's because music has changed. Music is 90. To be honest with you, I stopped listening to new music in '92. I couldn't tell you who Death Finger Punch, whoever they are, or anybody. Ask Felix. He laughs at me all the time. He's like, "You don't know these guys?" I'm like, "No," because I don't listen to that. Everything I
He's
listen.
stuck in Journey.
Yeah, I'm
He's
stuck.
in
Yeah,
Boston.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck in
He's
the
stuck in
80s.
New Jersey.
I'm sorry. That's me. That's the way I've been. I'm not the kind of guy that likes that. But anyway, when music started changing and didn't really mean anything anymore, that's when I started getting turned off. You know what I mean? And then that's basically, I just stuck to classic rock all like through my whole life and not really cared about who's here, until, well, now it's like still don't know who's around, but more the music scene that I'm more into is what we're trying to create. Because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to create, keep going with it. You know what I mean?
We want to be one of those bands that actually, when we play our songs, Zach, you know the words to. When we come through and we actually bring our Raise Your Hands tour all the way on April the 22nd, when we come through Central Illinois and Bement, Illinois, which thank you so much for, Terry, you're awesome, because we talked with the Canopy, we talked with Pippa, we talked with 3 or 4 of the venues, and the one that we landed on, is close to my heart anyway. So, we went through.
Yeah, that's great.
And we ended up, right where I was born, smack dab in the middle of the United States. So, with this being a very big tour for my friends and my bandmates, to be able to share that with Central Illinois, it's a wonderful thing that, I'm so excited that, we're playing one of the biggest shows that we booked up until the point of going out to California was a show that we were going to be playing in Janesville, Wisconsin. And that's April 21st. And we're getting to play with Boba Flex, with Sin, and a whole bunch of other bands that are on like Rocklahoma and other, really great acts. And it's really securing our belief in what we're doing because it's different. It isn't what everybody else is doing. So it's nice to be, asked to get on these bills to where, I hate to say it, when I met him, I was like, hey, I think if we, play it right and if we treat rock stars right, when we play with them, we'll get treated like them ourselves. So when we played with Pat Travers and we treated him like a rock star, and then we played with Carl Palmer on the ELP Legacy Tour when it came through, we really try to treat them like the rock stars that they were. Did all the nines. Our record company was the one to take care of it. So we got that taste of, what should we be like if and when we get the opportunity to go somewhere and, another promoters on a big scale. So it was really nice to get 2 or 3 festivals that we're on. So it's a big announcement, if I can say, that this Friday we continue our Raise Your Hands tour over here in our little neck of the woods over in Sanford, Florida. We've got 3 other acts that are with us. The local act that we got is Transcendent. Then we have the opening act, which will be from 0 to 1. The great guys, shout out to them. And then we have the regional act, which is Rocks, who has been in the Florida scene for 35 years. I may be saying it wrong. Sorry, Mikey, if I am. But they have really, done 2 albums that, again, back when another tangent we're going to go on, but when CDs were CDs and meant something, he finally made a CD of his work, and they've been touring it, here, locally for a very long time. And so we got them to come on as the regional act. And then we're going to headline that this Friday. So we've got VIP tickets for $10. They are sold out. Thank you so much to all of our great fans.
Yes.
We are actually giving away a custom guitar thanks to taptunes.us. They have made a custom guitar for us that we're going to sign. Here's the great news, which you get it first.
Okay,
I promise you something special. You get it first. So we actually have a guitar that we're giving away online with Taptunes. All you got to do is go to Taptunes on their Facebook page. All you got to do is follow them, give them a like, and they'll put you in on the running to win this guitar. That's all you got to do is just like their page, follow their page, and you are in the running to win this custom guitar this Friday. Well, I had a meeting with him today, and he said, George, I want to keep that custom guitar. Just, we're going to give that away online. I'm going to give you another guitar we're going to give away at the show. That is going to be another custom guitar that you guys are going to sign. So if you have a VIP ticket to that show in Sanford, Florida, you are in the running for 2 guitars. You have one guitar you can win online, and you can have one you win that night. So we're really excited. They also get a copy of which. I don't know if you can
That's
see
the
it or
guitar.
not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Look around Sanford. That's the poster for it.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And all
yeah.
you gotta do-
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Just
That's
scan
awesome.
the little code there. But
Yeah.
whenever they come in that night, they're also, again, it was a $10 value for the ticket. So we have our volume 1 with tap tunes, which I know it's really hard to see.
Yeah. Bring that up here and turn it around and let it get in
Right,
focus.
turn it around for it.
No, the other way, Oz, the tap tunes. To show them how to use it.
That.
Turn it
Okay,
around, please. Turn it around, please.
It's
So if you look, getting closer.
Oh, okay.
So if you
Okay.
look-
you can't see
Gotcha.
that.
well, right there.
All
right
right.
there.
Can you guys
So-
send me like a
so-
copy of that?
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna mail. Right. Okay, you're good. What are you talking about? We're sending you swag. You get a fight over which one you want, Terry
Yay.
or Zach. You get a fight over whichever one that you want. But we're sending you volume 1 and volume 2.
Oh my God.
If you look at it, when you get them, we're changing the game. So there's no more streaming. Remember when you used to walk into a record store and you used to buy an 8-track?
Yeah.
Zach, remember an 8-track?
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
Then you went and you actually found the albums, the long playing albums that you actually went in and you bought an album from, a record store. There's
Yes.
no more record stores. There's mom and pops that have old vintage, albums that you can buy. But what does everybody play their music on today?
Their phones.
Right? Their phone. But they got nothing to hold. They don't have that
Tangible.
Right. Welcome to the tangible on the
Mhm.
end of tap tunes. So you tap it on your phone, it pulls it up. You have our entire volume 1 catalog. Then you have volume 2 with the other catalog. So in that,
That's so cool.
and thank you. Hey, Gino, she thinks it's cool, man. Me too. But that's the actual tap tune president.
All right, here you go. Give me one of these. So basically, you have your phone open, and it goes right to the trying to get it out of the light. But it goes right to the.
How'd you guys get onto this?
All you gotta do is hit play. Oh, gotta hit the song first, and hit play, and it just plays it.
So your phone becomes your tape player, becomes your record player you used to have, the CD player that no one has anymore. If you talk about 2012, 2015, even the new Teslas, what really got us is when they came to us and they said, George, in the new cars, nobody has a CD player anymore. But you can tap this on the touchscreen of a Tesla and it'll pull up our album.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Right? So, with that being said, I was in a meeting today with a gentleman who was for A&R for tap tunes, and that was his question: is I want to go after these major artists and get them on board. And the big thing is that's what's so beautiful about with tap tunes is we've signed a distribution deal because we own the music, we own the rights to the songs, we own the publishing to the songs. So if you go to Tap Tunes and actually order it from them, they'll send you one of these cards in the mail. And then you can actually have it and play it. We get a nice little deal that we worked out with them. So that way it isn't 0.00000013256% of a stream. So we have been on Facebook, right? Pushing our merchandise like every other band. We picked, we were talking about before we came on with Redbubble. So we have someone who can ship anything to your door. You want our album, you want our merch, you want our, poster, you want, whatever it is. We use even Eventbrite for our tickets. So that way, when you go on, you can actually have a ticket and you don't have to worry about, physically getting one. If that isn't you, if you're used to what it is and you just use your phone, you can use that. So we were excited whenever TapTunes came and said, this is brand new technology. And I love living in Florida. It's like living in New York or possibly California because you get everything first. And this gentleman came to us and said, I have 10 artists that are on board right now. I want you to be number 10. And I've already made up my mind. I want you to be number 10. And we were like taken aback. So he's worked with the best of the industry. Gino's incredible.
This
He's
is genius.
guitars for Toby Keith, for Cheap Trick. Like I said, I sat in his office and had about an hour conversation about Robert Zander stories, which is from Rockford. So I'm like, well, that's amazing, on the fact of, Robin so well, and deal with it. So the biggest thing with that is we've been on Spotify, Pandora, using DistroKid. So bands, please listen. If you are on DistroKid right now, congratulations. You've taken the first step. You own your own music. You own your own publishing. Now get off of the wheel. Forget about followers and start selling your music, because this company that we're partnered up with, this actual distribution process, if I get a TapTune card and it physically gets in my hand as a band and I sell it for $10, $15, $20, I make it special and I sign them, the band keeps all the money.
Hey, you know what? This is like almost like revolutionary. You said something so important here that I hope that our local musicians and all of those that are like have recorded so much music, especially recently in this past year, there's been a lot of musicians in Champaign-Urbana that have recorded music. And where do they end up? Spotify, Apple, which all that's fine. I'm not saying anything about that. But what I am saying is what you're saying is far more important and puts the artist first.
Well, he's putting his belief back into where a record company first did, but then greed got in the way.
Yeah.
So, if you really look at it, that was the first thing that he said to me. So with us, the reason that we even got on board with him, we've signed a 2-year deal with him because it was something that we wanted to put our feet into. So I feel like Bill Gates just came up to me and said, I've just got a new idea called the iPod. Apple. Have you heard of
I love it.
Apple working on? That's how we feel and where we are. So again,
that's how I feel like.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like.
For 2 years. Okay. I don't want to be rude and be, and say that we're something that we're not and say, man, we've done so well with Spotify. We're on 64 playlists. We got this. We're in the Netherlands and we're played in Australia. We've got 2 great singles that are going right now over in Belgium. I could tell you all that, but it wouldn't mean anything. It would be the same thing as Facebook friends that you have that don't post on your comments. They don't do anything. They just hang and they look at your information, but nothing happens. We were on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, all of them. I can show you our payouts, and we've made $22 in 2 years. We had this deal with TapTunes for 2 weeks.
I just ordered my Lamborghini too.
we had this deal with TapTunes for 2 weeks, and we made $360 to the band. Not having to wait. Well, wait. That was just the money because he gave us the actual cards and said, I believe in you. Go sell my product and tell people about my product, and you reap all of the rewards from it. 100%. Now, if they order it from my website, I'm going to take a piece of it, okay? But I'm going to give you one of the best royalty deals that has ever existed. I know the law, and I'm going to go 1 cent above what they tell me that I have to pay you. So all the songs that we have in our catalog, no matter how many that there is on there, we get a nice percentage that is real that gets sent to my account that we've set up with PayPal. So there's no excuses, bands. If you love technology, that's great. On the 15th of the month, we get a royalty check from him. That's real.
Okay, let me do this. when I publish this, I'll do this. It's Taptunes, right? Taptunes.com.
.us.
.us.
Thank you. .us. Okay. I'll do a ticker tape on that. While you're talking about it, I'll run a ticker across the bottom. Would that be okay?
Well,
Yeah.
that'd be absolutely great. I haven't even told you the best part.
Well, get on, because that was a
More.
lot of good stuff.
And there's more. The reason that all of this is happening is, we were talking about sponsorships, and the band, we don't work with sponsors because then we have to do what the sponsors tell us, and we, as the three heads, are the three heads of the company. So when we make a decision and Felix don't like it, we argue about it. We may do it, but if Felix is very adamant about it and he has a, passion of why he doesn't want to do it, if it makes sense, then we will not do, because we don't want to hurt the triad that we have. So
Yeah.
When we got into this, it was all a matter of building something and trying to be, if it's about the music, if it's about the message, if it's about the product, we wanted to be on the first end of the trend, not following a trend, trying to come up and be something that, we're not. So it was really great that we've been offered all these great opportunities. Like, for instance, we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about our Raise Your Hands Tour 2023. We kick it off this Friday, giving away a free guitar online and at the show, signed by Felix, Oscar, and myself. All the VIP are sold out. We will leave on March 31st, and then we go to Janesville, Wisconsin to play the Back Bar. And we're playing with 5 other great acts. We are the act right before Boba Flex, so we get to open up our second night of our big, regional move, and that's why we're coming to Bement on the night.
Bement, Illinois. Yes.
So
Where are you playing? Where are you playing in Bement?
Lucky Monkey.
We're playing at the Lucky Monkey.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Lucky Monkey Pub and Grub.
Yep.
So I talked to a big shout out. Love you, Bridge. You're awesome. This is a free show. We worked it out with our record company. We learned here in Florida when we were playing for 2 years. We played on a couple of great venues, and we worked with the promoter, and then we became, our own entity with our record company. We just filed it over and went with Rock Out Promoting now. So when we do a show, we do production, we do the sound, we do everything to where it will have to be usually shipped out. So we're an entity that now is able to get these other local artists and have them on board. If you talk about, we're the only company that actually pays the artists what they're worth in VIP tickets. So if you look at when people come in for general admission, it's free. You can come in. There's only 100 tickets that you're going to get, Bement, a signature signed custom guitar also. We're bringing a custom guitar to Bement, Illinois, that Taptunes. Thanks, Gino. You're the man. He is getting another guitar. So in that little spree way, we're going to be heading, coming back from Janesville, Wisconsin, hitting Bement, Illinois, coming back to Florida for a quick little rest. And then we're going out to Corona, California, and playing the Rockefeller. They just redid everything out there, and it's a brand new stage, brand new everything. We're so excited with Rock Rage Radio, the Smoke Out, all the great internet radio stations that we've been working with. A shout out to Nathan Young and his production team. We're going to be playing with a Metallica, speaking of a Metallica band, a Metallica tribute band, and also a Judas Priest tribute band, or the big headliners there. We're going to support them along with some other local acts that are there. And then we make a big move to the Whiskey A Go-Go over in Hollywood, California. We're going to play a Mother's Day show there with Lady Zepp, along with it's called Awake. They're the biggest. Me and Oscar are really excited because when we got into this, the whiskey was a big goal. If I can say, I'll give it 5 years, but if we can't get to the whiskey, we probably don't have anything. And that was just from saying that we wanted to be a touring act. And as the Lord works. He works in mysterious ways. Everything started to align. Next thing you know, we're getting a call to go out to the whiskey and get on a 6 bill with a Mother's Day show. So it's one of those great things that we get to fit it into our schedule. And then we got to go over to Kittrell, North Carolina, and do a great show for the Freedom Ranch that Oscar's been working with. And it's a dear, close fundraising event. They're having a big, what's it called? What's the festival's called?
It's, I can't remember the name. He actually said he had the flyer too. Go ahead, keep talking. Okay.
Well, but basically they have a nice little fundraiser that they do and a big festival. Oscar goes up and does, just work for them.
Basically, I go. It's my buddy's ranch, and what he does, he does rescues for animals. He's got pigs and donkeys and goats and a bunch of animals, and they all need help. So that's my time to get away from the phone, and get away from reality, because you're in the middle of nowhere. And then I get up at 4 a.m. and I go out and I feed everybody, all the animals, and it's a zen for me. It gives me some sort of joy when I do that, and I've been doing it for the past few years. And he's had his band play there. He has a cover band up there, and he's had a few
just
other
like
bands.
Kittrell, Illinois.
But he was always telling me, he goes, "Hey, when you gonna get your guys up here? When you get your guys up here?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I don't know if they're gonna come." But we finally decided to go, and I'm glad that we're gonna do it so they can actually see where I go.
Well, it really worked out really well. I mean, because we're coming back over to North Carolina, and then we have a day and a half layover, and then we head out to Houston, Texas, and we play the Mega Fest out there with Stonebreed and 3 or 4 other real good bands that, like, again, are playing Rocklahoma. So it's really awesome that we fit into a nice little slot that we are, not opening up for the headliner, but we're second opening up for the headliner. So, it's a nice little time to get there where, with the whiskey and the Corona California show, we're actually getting that taste of getting on a plane and actually going. So, we're not.
Oh, so you're traveling via plane?
Oh, absolutely. When our record company worked it out, that we got a backline provided. So
okay, I imagined you guys kind of like in a bus or in a van or
right.
No,
the
old days, old school.
I've done that. Me and him, we're not 23. Who's gonna be like, where are we staying tonight, man? That's not happening. No, we've got it to where our tour is going to be scheduled around what we can do and what we can't do, and I'm not, I'm good with not being in Wisconsin for 3 days because we don't have a show, So yeah, we worked it out to where everybody who's got responsibilities can make sure that they live up to their responsibilities, not only in the band, but also out of the band in their personal life. So
that's Felix, by the way.
So I was just going to say, Felix, we haven't heard from you yet. So
say hi, Felix.
Yeah, step up. Let's have a chat.
Zach, ask Felix a question.
Yeah, Zach.
Not a comment, Zach. A question.
How did you get into the band?
Honestly, I was playing with a bunch of people locally.
Wait a minute. Wait, stop. Okay, get a little closer. We can't hear you very well. Yeah, we really want to hear you. There you go. There you go.
I get it out of your face.
Wait, right here. Just right here.
Okay.
Just sit there.
He talks slow too, so he's not as loud.
Yeah, we want you heard.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well, he fixes the battery.
Yeah. I started playing with some people locally, people around my age, just kind of getting my feet wet, trying to see, what other people were getting into.
Volume max.
And I ended up playing with a bunch of small time bands where we would practice storage units and things like that. I spent a lot of time practicing at home, but we never really did anything, or we never really went anywhere, and that was really frustrating. So I mean, I would drive as far as Daytona Beach. I'd drive all the way to Fort Lauderdale, all over the state, looking for people to play with, just anybody who would be willing to jam and kind of find somebody who wanted to take that seriously. Yeah. So I mean, the dedication was there, but it was tough to find other people who had the same commitment level. But eventually, I stumbled across this post on Craigslist of this guy named Joey who's I guess looking for another rhythm guitarist in the land. And I live in Orlando, so that's like about maybe an hour drive out there. So I said, you know what, man, I got nothing going on around here. Let me see what I can find. So then I went out there, and Oscar happened to be there, and we had another drummer that was there. His name was also Alex, or his name was Alex as well. And from there, I mean, like Oscar said, Joey, he was a great guy and all that, but he just wasn't playing the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's not like we didn't try to steer him in the right direction and all that. Say like, hey, try doing this, and that. He just wasn't open-minded enough to kind of, I guess, branch out with his playing. So from there, I reached out to Oscar a couple of days later, and I was like, hey man, you want to jam at your house because you live a lot closer to me. And then we just continued jamming there. And then eventually, our first drummer, he ended up passing away. He ended up, he got into some heavy drugs and all that. Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate, but I mean, we still had that dedication level, and we definitely had to continue the band, or at least trying to make a band just in his name, because I mean, he was a big influence as well. But from there, we kept on trying out different drummers, and then, like Oscar said, he reached this kind of breaking point where he told me, listen, you're young, you got the talent, why don't you go out and find some other people? And at that point, I was just like, nah, man, like loyalty is a big thing for me, and you stayed, committed with me, and you stuck with me this long. So, it's not like me to just kind of give up on somebody. So I said, I'm willing to continue trying to do this. And if you want to give up,
Volume max. Sorry. Go ahead.
But long story long, I mean, we ended up running into George, and we didn't think it was going to work at first, but he ended up coming back again, thankfully. And, from there, it's been a wild ride, and we've just been doing bigger and bigger things. And, I couldn't be more appreciative.
Don't you just love this kid?
I do. And I love that that George, he didn't let you go. He was like, no. You're not gonna.
It's great because, like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's very disappointing when you try something and it doesn't evolve the way you want it to. Mm-hmm. And the way what we've done in a short amount of time that the band's been together, where we're at right now, it takes bands 5 to 6 years to get to that point. The reason we're here at this point is because the dedication doesn't die. I'm not that this is my first band that I'm not the only one doing all the work. George does the majority of the work. He has, as you can hear him talking, he knows everything. He knows what we're playing, where we're doing, where we're going, what we're doing, and I love that because now we get to share responsibilities. But yeah, George has taken a lot of responsibility for this band, and we wouldn't be here at this point if it wasn't for his dedication. You know what I mean? No, seriously, I'm not like I said, I'm not anybody to kiss anybody's butt, but that's
hey, good time, everybody. Kiss my butt. It's okay. Thanks for getting butt, Oz. Way to go.
Oh, that's what I changed it. But when you find people like that they all have the same mindset and the same dream that you want to create. Because every drummer that we got in here, we try to explain to them, look, the three of us, we already have our bags packed. So whenever that call comes in, we're gone. So that's why it's hard to find people like that, because a lot of people aren't willing to give up what they have right now. They don't have that dedication that we have. And that's why, since George has been playing drums, I brought it up, say, look, I think for this tour, it should just be the three of us. Why? Because it'd be easier, for one, because we all know each other. You know what I mean? To throw somebody else in and try to get to know, it's like moving in with somebody, with everything together. Yeah. But once you live together and he doesn't put that toilet seat down, you start getting mad.
Yeah. Don't let him fool you. He got the actual price for one more person on the plane ticket, and it was like, no, you're right. We should be a 3-piece.
Yeah, let's just.
Let me tell you something. Flights have gone up in price. I tell you that. But that's what I'm saying. This band wouldn't be where if it wasn't the dedication that we have with the three of us.
And your obligation and commitment to one another and having the same vision, I think, is so important.
And a lot of bands, if they lose their drummer, they'd be like, oh, now we don't have a band. We have to do this, we have to do that. With
Basically,
us,
yeah.
we lost a drummer, we didn't even blink. You know what I mean? George jumped in the driver's seat and, said, okay, we're still gonna do this.
So Felix, you took experience over age. Age didn't matter to you because I mean you are younger. You could have, you like you said, you looked around and tried to find, people to play have the same kind of vision or whatever that you have going on, or the same kind of music in your soul or whatever. And for you ended up going, I mean, because Oscar, you mentioned earlier that you reached an age where you were like, I'm just done. I haven't done it yet. It's not going to happen. I'm out. But then here comes Felix, and Felix, it looks like you chose experience, dedication, maturity, all of those things over age.
I mean,
But before you start, no, I'm sorry, you can continue, but no, seriously, to me, I'm glad he stayed. And what other band he was going to be in is your loss. Sorry, I got him. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't really matter. At that point, it didn't really matter how old you were. They could have been younger than me. They could have been my age. They could have been older than me. It's whatever. I was looking more for a mindset. I was looking more for like, can we find that synergy musically? Do my taste kind of match your taste so that we can create something new that would also be interesting and kind of pop out and stand out and also add to the rock scene today.
Man, you found it. That's awesome. That's kind of like. Go ahead.
Interrupt. I'm sorry, Chuck. Hey, Zach.
No, it's fine.
Ask Felix who are his 3 favorite guitar players.
Who is your favorite guitar player?
3.
John Frusciante, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
3.
Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. And then right now I'm really feeling Nita Strauss, but the third one's ever changing.
Great question. Dang, Zach. You should ask more questions, Zach.
Hey,
I heard. I was listening to Terry Hemmert on WXRT in Chicago, FM station in Chicago, and she was telling a story a while back, a few weeks ago, about how she was in a crowd somewhere and she was standing next to this 14-year-old boy, and she started talking to him, and she's like our age. She was talking to him. She goes, "Well, what kind of music do you like? Who's your favorite guitarist?" And he goes, "Jack White." And she goes, "Yes, there are we still have hope for our new generation."
Yeah, he's pretty revolutionary. I mean, at least with the modern age stuff that he's done. I mean, he's done some work with us. So.
Hey, a big shout out to WKIO. I know that you may want to support us like 15 years from now or 20 years from now. But if there's a good Boston journey or like tour coming around, we're always happy to support it. Oz would be like ecstatic to come back to Illinois and do that.
I love that you said. I absolutely love that you say that. And because anybody that listens to the Homegrown KIO show understands exactly what you're talking about. Because
it took me a long time to get a song on that. I could never get a song on. The fact that I get to mention WKIO is exciting for me. I love Central Illinois. You're listening to WKIO. I am Rockstar G with Fyre Insyde. Thank you so much for supporting live music.
No, I was going to say, what's funny about when we were doing the auditions for for the band, I even had a guy call me up, say, "Look, I got my son that I want him to try for your band," and I was kind of wondering why the father was calling me. The kid was 12 years old. I can't do that.
Could you imagine taking a 12-year-old to the Whiskey A Go Go? That would be just like,
What did this 12-year-old play? Do you know?
Guitar.
Oh, okay.
The kid can shred. I mean, he's no joke. The kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in here and because I had him audition, and he came in here and played the solo for Crazy Train. And I'm sitting in on the laptop. He's behind me, and then he just starts wailing, and I just turn around like, like, wow, okay. But 12 years old, he's too young. But the
Yeah.
funny story about that, I became friends with him and his father. And, I give him advice, blah, blah, blah. He listens to me because he doesn't listen to his dad. So he kind of listens to me. And he brought over this little girl bass player. The bass was actually bigger than her, and an older kid who played drums. And they're sitting there playing, doing their thing. And I'm watching them, and I'm more interested in the girl because I'm a bass player. So I'm watching her, and she's got these little, like, long fingers and these big strings, and she's like playing, and I was like pretty impressed. And back in those days, I used to play with a pick because I like the sound. It gives you more of a thump. So I sit there and I asked her, I was like, you ever play with a pick? And she gave me the most serious look that anybody has ever given me that reached down to my soul. Her words were, I'm a bass player.
Oh, oh,
13-year-old girl.
So if you ever hear that Oscar's out of time because he should be using a pick, it's because of that 13-year-old bass.
That 13-year-old girl shook my whole world. I don't play with a pick anymore, but I've been using my fingers ever since.
So Lucky Monkey Pub and Grub, and we'll have a little comment box where you can put it in. How did Oscar play tonight?
yeah. I love that. That's going to be a blast at Lucky Monkey. We're going to be there. Zach, are you going?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be great to meet you guys.
Also included in the show at the Lucky Monkey, April 22nd, 2023, will be Jack Daniel and David Woolridge.
The tickets and the posters will be probably out of the printers probably tomorrow. Latest, I'm hoping like 4:00. So I'll get them in the mail. And like I said, you'll have your 20 VIP tickets for $10. And please keep that and then put us on your shirts. We would be happy to be on the shirts for CU bands and fans.
Oh, you're going on my shirt. Yep, you're going.
I'm just saying. So that way you can keep that. And like I said, to me, that's a way that we can pay back. There's so many funny things with, like, I grew up in the industry. So with payola and how it all works out, and oh my goodness, you're going to do that and you're going to do this. I love the fact that with internet, anything, we don't have to talk about that, on the fact of, here, I'm going to give you tickets, you sell them, you keep it towards your CU bands and fans thing, and we'll see you at the show. And we're happy to support you.
You're awesome. You guys are all incredible. And
tons of swag too. With shirts.
Yeah, we already talked about it, so
yeah,
we're gonna get you some stuff. Yeah, the best thing, like I said, the best thing about this band, we're a self-contained band. Nobody owns us. We're our own. So it's not like back in the old days when you signed a contract and then they steal everything from you. You know what I mean? This is right here. It's just us, so that way we can control what we have.
So let's talk real quick. I think that's really important, especially for our musicians to hear around here too. So I can't wait for everyone to hear this podcast. But I want to say three things. One is we have a young band that came out in they came out kind of 2019, and then 2020 happened, and then so they went to recording. They're young. They're called Ancient Ways. They're 20-something years old. Their own music. Ancient Ways.
Ancient Ways. Okay.
I would love for them to meet you guys. So I'm going to invite them to this Lucky Monkey deal. And I think that they're a lot like you as far as like they've all got the same vision. They do their own music. They've recorded some music. I really want them to hear about this Tap Tunes thing and all of that. But I am going to invite them to show up. I'd like to introduce you guys to them. I think that you guys together would be just a phenomenal fit. Just networking and connecting and all of that. So aside from that, the second thing I want to say is that we had a band on out of Decatur on our podcast, and we talked about that, the Spotify and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, and how you network. And what they said is because you talked about followers versus actual fans or actual people that are, and what they said
Those
is,
bands that aren't signed to a label, all their followers are other bands. They're not fans. They're other bands.
yeah, other musicians. Yeah.
Go and look. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what
we
they're
know.
doing now. There's a big thing on Facebook right now of, hey, you go on, I'm going to list you, and there's a whole list. Let's go fan for fan. We'll follow you. You follow me. You follow me. You follow you. Now you got what, 125? Now multiply it by 50 states. Now you've got 30,000 fans that aren't fans. They're just in bands.
They're just and they just hit follow or like or whatever. But what this band said was that they're building a culture. I would say that's fair to say about you guys. You're building, a culture, and not
That's a great compliment.
and huge difference, So you build a culture, you've got lifelong fans, basically.
Thank you.
But you sent me an MP3 of one of your songs, so I just want our listeners to know that the beginning of this podcast, we will play the beginning of that song. The end of the podcast, we'll play the full song, and we will have all the links to this band, this incredible band. We will have all the links to all of their music, their YouTube, their social medias, where you can get their music, where you can hear their music, their Facebook page. All of that will be on linked to this podcast, so it'll be very easy to find you guys and locate you guys. Now, all that being said, are you guys ready for this tour? When do you start?
Yeah.
Friday. Well, actually, we're continuing the tour. We've already kicked off the tour over at the American Legion 183. We had a 2-night stint over there 2 months ago, and that really kicked off our tour with Transcendent and also From Zero to One. So we decided to bring them on board here on Friday. We're at Legends Bar and Lounge in Sanford, Florida. Like I said, the VIP is sold out, but you can get to the show, and it's a general admission show. The only thing that you don't get is you don't get one of our Volume 1 or Volume 2 albums. Other than that, you can come enjoy the rock. 4 great bands along with us. And like I said, that's going to kind of really give us our last little home show, because we've got nothing, just so all of our Florida fans know, we don't have anything on the books until we get back. We will announce when we get back what the, next little John on the second stop of the tour will be when we get back. So catch us this Friday. You're not going to see us for a while until we get back.
Yeah. Well, we should wrap up, because I think we're going on an hour and a half here.
Okay.
Like company talking to me, isn't it, Zach? Whenever we were back in Central Illinois somewhere, right?
No, because I was going to bring up the stuff that we also done that we haven't talked about, but it's okay. We can save it for another time.
Oh, there's a local radio station here, 104.1, and they're also on iHeart Radio. So we made an album with them. It's called Monster Sing. And now we'll go back to DistroKid. So go back and go to all those great Spotify, go to Pandora. And, if you pull up the Monsters in the Morning or Monster Sing, there's an entire album that we helped them record. And they're songs by ZZ Top, Kiss, and, other artists that wrote the songs. And we were honored enough to actually play the song while the host of the show went out of their box and sang songs that they usually don't sing to raise money for Mark Tremonti's charity, Take a Chance. So we were really happy to be hooked up and linked with that to be raising money for them. So please, if you would, give it a listen. And we actually got a physical album that they actually made here in Florida, which is really
See,
cool.
I love it. That's my favorite thing ever. That is such my favorite thing.
It was great because, like I said, I've been listening to these guys every morning for like 30 years. But for the host to call me and say, hey, do you want to do this with us? It was, to me, I was blown away. And I was more than happy to do it. And we did it. We did a really good job with it. And then all the money that goes to that Monster Sing album goes directly to the charity. So anything that we can do to help
for charity.
Anything we can do to help with there. You know,
You guys
even
are
one of our-
A shout out to Russ and also my main man Carlos, along with
Ryan.
yeah, Ryan. And hey, I'd be if I didn't actually the best DJ in the world. Is he not the best? He's
Yeah.
we have a
The
football
Angel of
team.
Boom.
Angel the Boom is the best. He and Ryan played us on 104.1 for the rejoins because it's a talk radio show. So the fact that they play music at all and they let us do that, we're getting ready to play. Angelique, I'm looking to see you also, Savannah, at the great Monster Showcase that we're going to be a part of here coming up shortly when we get back from our tour. So we're excited about
Yeah, that's another thing too. But we have so much, like I said, we don't have no time. It's like a 3-hour show.
That's great though. I think that you guys I feel extremely honored and very, very lucky to have you on our podcast right now because
Well, thank you.
I feel like you guys are just and it's going to be something to have you back. I mean, I think we're going to try to have you back and you're going to be like, I'm not sure we can get you scheduled.
We love you, Sarah.
I'm sure we have time.
If that would be true, we would not be sitting here because I'm saying,
Yeah,
I lived around there and I never got to talk to them on the air, whatever. What. We are very honored and humbled to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Get us after the tour. See how we at.
Yes. Call WBGL and request one of our songs if you like. They all fit. They have them all. And also WKIO. We look forward to being played on your station 20 years from now.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. So this has been absolutely fantastic. I've enjoyed it and I've really, really enjoyed your music. And I'm so genuine about that. I am blown away by your music. You guys are definitely, you are already going places. And I think you're just, I think you're just going to hit that national mark. And I look forward to going, oh yeah, well, I did a podcast with those guys.
Well, I'll say this, and we got Zach to ask us a question. I want Zach enjoys you a lot, and he's enjoying the heck out of the band. I know he is. He's like going smiling and smiling. I'm glad I got a question from Zach. That makes this podcast super special. I've done 4 this week. This is the best one.
Yeah, I'm super glad that you got Zach to get engage a little bit. I'm always like, Zach, that's a question. But I'm talking too, so
he is. He just doesn't talk. He uses his eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, do you have one more question for us before we go?
Here's a question we ask bands every once in a while. If you could play at any venue in the world, where would you like to play?
Ooh, take that one off.
Look at Oscar. He's
like, in the world?
Yeah.
Maybe one of those like US festivals in Europe
with
100 or one of those festivals down in Central South America in Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. With 200,000 people, I cry. I probably cry right there and then.
Aw.
Because that's the whole goal. The whole goal with me has never been, I want to be a rock star because I want to make money. I want to be a rock star because I want to entertain people.
Yeah,
and the more I entertain, the better I am. My goal is to be on that stage with 200,000 people. You know what I mean? I want to stand there and be at awe. Like I finally made it. The money thing is nothing. Money comes and goes. People spend it. They lose things about that. It's never been about the money. And that's how we all are. It's never the point of the money. It's the point in getting the music and the message out there.
But what money you do make off of your work, you should make the most of it.
Yep.
Nobody else should get that one. Yeah.
We get to keep it.
That's right.
We don't have a loan now.
When you show up at the Lucky Monkey, you're going to have your merch, right?
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to have merch there? Or no?
No, our merch is going to be out there.
Okay, good.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's you're funny. Yeah. We bring the wares that nobody cares. But yes, we do. We'll have tap tunes, we'll have shirts, we'll have all those great things. But if you want to really impress us, go on Redbubble and go have them sent to your house so that way you can actually get one or two before we get there. That'd be really great. If not,
Yes.
if not, you can get it from us. It just means Oscar's got to do a little work that night.
Actually, it's not me, it's my wife. I was going to say, my wife does all our merch. She actually makes jewelry out of our old guitar strings.
Okay, I want one. I already know that. Can I get that on Redbubble? Or Redbubble? Can I get that on there?
No. We have to send you that. That's something that we'll send to you in this little swag pack.
Okay.
We have two different versions, right? We have the Oscar and we have the Felix collection. So we have two different kind of bracelets that are made from guitar strings from Felix and bass strings from Oscar.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Our own little jewelry line also, too. So, yes, I'll make sure we send you those so that way you can have them.
We got earrings. We got bracelets. It's really
Oh, my God. I love it. I love merch.
We'll hook you up. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
And Zach, he'll send you a guitar pick.
Oh, that'd be great.
I know how much you love your guitar picks, Zach.
He's got custom guitar picks, too. So.
Oh, yeah.
It was an honor to be on your podcast. You guys are fantastic.
Yes, it was.
We love CU bands and fans. Without you, music would not exist. And I know that because I had to move away from Florida to come back through Central Illinois to announce that you are still here and you're still doing it better than anyone ever has. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Zach,
Yeah.
we love you.
Thank
We
you.
love you. We love you guys too. Thanks for being on our podcast. Hang in there, okay? Hang in there.
Appreciate it.
Pick me up when I stumble, set my soul free. You carry me when I'm weary. You carry me when I can't make it. You carry me when I can't try. You carry me onward to victory. You carry me until I die. Until I die. You carry me through all my heartache. You carry me in all my pain. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But you were always there to catch me.